Labor and Industrial Law by M.G. Law. Now we will cover immunity from civil and criminal liability on page number 11. Immunity from civil and criminal liability, protection from civil and criminal action. Okay, so this immunity protection is given to trade union, its members and its office bearers. Okay, so first we will see criminal immunity, protection from criminal action under Trade Unions Act 1926 section 17. A trade union, its members or its office bearers are not liable for criminal conspiracy in respect of agreement between members for furthering object under section 15. Okay, so the trade union, its members or office bearers, they are not liable for any criminal conspiracy if its members are doing any agreement for furthering the objects stated in section 15. Okay, except this agreement should not be to commit offense. Okay, the agreement should not be to commit any offense. This is an exception. Okay, so what are the objects in section 15 for which the agreement was done? The objects are on which general funds may be spent, like conduct of trade dispute, compensation to members for loss on dispute. These objects we have covered in rights of registered trade union. You can see all the objects of section 15. So this is immunity from criminal action. Now we come to civil immunity. Section 18 says that any act done in contemplation or furtherance of trade dispute. Okay, so there is civil immunity provided to the trade union, its members and of office bearers for this act. Okay, so any act done in contemplation or in furtherance or in progress or in forwarding a trade dispute, so the immunity is provided to them. There is one condition: the person or the party doing this act, it should be a party to the dispute. This immunity is not provided to the stranger to the dispute. Okay, only the party to the dispute will get this immunity. So what is the ground for providing these immunities? The ground is that such act induces some other person to break contract of employment, interferes with some other person's trade, business or employment. It interferes with some other person's right to dispose capital, labor at will. Okay, in normal conditions, if you do these acts, there will be civil action against you. But these acts are required to compel the employer for providing better working conditions. So to generally to pressurize the employer. Okay, so generally to pressurize for better working conditions, unless all workers stopped, it is hard to compel the employer. So these type of immunities are provided so that no civil action can be taken against the trade union, its members or office bearers, and they can compel or pressurize the employer for better working conditions. So what is the immunity provided in case of tortious acts? A trade union is not liable when an act is done by agent of the trade union in contemplation or furtherance of a trade dispute. Okay, if an agent of a trade union does any act in contemplation or furtherance or progress or forwarding any trade dispute, okay, then the trade union is not liable if proved there is some one condition that that agent acted without knowledge of the executive or contrary to express instructions of the executive. It means that the executive was not having the knowledge of the act done by the agent, or the executive gives some express instructions and the agent acted in contrary to that express instruction. Okay, so in these conditions the trade union will be not liable. Next is agreement in restraint of trade. In normal conditions, if there is an agreement in restraint of trade, it is void or voidable. Okay, but here, due to the immunity provided to the trade union, its members and office bearers, an agreement having any object in restraint of trade, it is neither void nor voidable. Okay, this right is not for unregistered trade union. Okay, unregistered trade union, they don't have this right to have the agreement having any object in restraint of trade. Okay, they have to follow general contract law. In general contract law, if you are having an agreement in which there is restraint of trade, then that agreement will be void. Okay, so what we have covered: immunity. Okay, first was criminal immunity. In this, we saw that trade union, its members and office bearer, they are not liable for criminal conspiracy if the members have an agreement for furthering objects under section 15. Okay, except one condition was that the agreement should not be to commit offense. Next was civil immunity. Civil immunity was if any act is done in contemplation or furtherance of a trade dispute, then there will be civil immunity provided. Okay, the condition was that the person doing the act should be the party to the dispute. These immunities are provided so that the employer can be compelled or pressurized to provide better working conditions. Okay, if these immunities are not provided, then the workman cannot compel or pressure the employer. Immunity from tortious acts. Trade unions are not liable if any agent of the trade union does any act in contemplation or furtherance of trade dispute. Okay, this tort act. Okay, if it is proved that the agent acted without the knowledge of the executive, or the executive gave some express instructions and the agent acted in contrary to those express instructions. Next was if there is an agreement in restraint of trade, that agreement will not be void or voidable in normal circumstances. If you are having an agreement which is having any object which is in restraint of trade, which is stopping the trade or having any hindrance in the trade, then that agreement will be void or voidable. Okay, so this right is only for unregistered trade union, only for registered trade union. It is not for registered unregistered trade, sorry, it is, this right is not for unregistered trade union, it is only for registered trade union. The unregistered trade union have to follow general contract law. Okay, so this was immunity provided to trade union, its members and its office bearers. Okay, if you are interested in the PDF for revision, okay, of these notes, you can get the link in the description or comment box. Next topic we will cover is industrial dispute. From this topic we will start the Industrial Disputes Act. Okay, now the trade unions act is completed.